Hello, folks. It's Sunday, August the 30th of 2020 today. I'm just sitting here on the back patio enjoying a little coffee on a Sunday afternoon. Been kind of hot today, so Christine and I just been chilling out inside watching YouTube videos and a little bit of Netflix. Started watching this series called Cobra Kai. Of course, I grew up in the 80s, so it's a Netflix series that kind of spins off from the old Karate Kid trilogy or whatever it was. Pretty good show. I like the fact that they got the two original actors in there that played Daniel and Johnny. It's kind of cool. So kind of weird to see those two actors coming back together to be on some series. But anyway, that's not what this video was going to be about at all. Anyway, it's just kind of my day today, just sitting back and chilling. I went to church last night. Went to church this morning. Had to go to the later service because we were up last night over at my sister-in-law Loretta's, and kind of giving them some big news, folks. Yeah, me and Christine, we got married this summer. The original plan is supposed to be get married in the Philippines. Didn't get to happen because of the old COVID, so we got married here. But a lot of things have happened since then. Don't get me wrong on this. Everything as far as our marriage is absolutely wonderful. I hit the freaking mother load with her. It's just kind of life in general. Of course, we all know the old everything going on with old COVID-19 and all the Black Lives Matter issues going around right now. And I'll tell you, I don't even know where to start on this video. I really don't. That's kind of one thing that's been befuddling me. I thought about some different topics to talk about. I thought about different things to do my next video, or to kind of maybe even lead into this one. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, folks, I don't know what in the world is going on with our society. I don't know what in the world is going on with our country nowadays. I really don't. There's so much mess going around right now. And of course, like I've told you, I really can't speak my mind on this because I don't really have a First Amendment right to freedom of speech, as a lot of Americans feel nowadays, which is stupid, absolutely stupid. So it's crazy that we will let one group of people out there speak their minds, but those of us who work at places that have social media clauses in our workplace policies, or whatever the case is, we cannot speak our minds. We'll get fired. So that's kind of the world we live in. It's absolutely asinine to me that an employer can even do something like that. Take away your freedom of your First Amendment freedom of speech. But it can be done, and it's not that they're taking it away. It's just that if you use it, and you use it in a way that they don't approve of, then you'll be terminated of your employment. And that's what it boils down to. So in essence, they are putting a muzzle on people to speak their minds, and that's one thing I've noticed. I've talked to I got some friends of mine that I work with who are retired, and semi-retired. They kind of work some side work here and there and all that. And they're like, oh, me being a police officer, they're like, oh yeah, we're on Facebook all the time defending you guys and all that stuff. And I'm like, great. It's great that you're a keyboard warrior, but why don't you get out there and go get in the street, or go at least get on the front steps at the courthouse or at the state capitol or whatever, and voice your opinion that you do support me. You support the work that I do. Well, I don't know. It's craziness. I mean, I can't even begin to go along with this video. This thing could go on for freaking hours. But the bottom line is, folks, is I now have over 19 years on in law enforcement. I lack just now months with hitting my 20 years and being able to retire. Just months. My original plan was to go and work 25 years. It would better things as far as retirement would go. But really, do I absolutely need this extra money in my retirement? No, I don't. And so here it is now, me trying to weigh, between is working another 5 years worth the money. I would say a lot of people that are hardcore money chasers that want the money, they would probably disagree with me on this, but there's got to be a point in time when, okay, yeah, I can go. We've all heard about the old Benjamin Franklin. If I'm going to make a decision, the old chart, you draw a line here and you got the pros and the cons and all that. How you make a decision, right? Well, yeah, monetarily, I start going down this little pros and cons Benjamin Franklin chart. And sure, yeah, it's going to look like, oh yeah, you better stay another 5 years to make things better, right? But there's a gamble that comes with that. There's a gamble that comes with staying that 5 years. And so you got to throw that in. And here's the gamble. Number one is having your physical and your mental health. What price do you put on that? What price do you put on peace of mind? What price do you put on your mental health? There may become a day when you're just going, you know what, I've had enough. And you go out underneath your favorite tree and you pull the trigger. Then what good is any of the money? None of it. Or your physical health. You get into something that causes you to get injured, or you even, heck, at my age, I'm over 50. You have a heart attack and if you live through it, you're done anyway. But here's the big risk. This is the one that really scares the living crap out of me. And it's happened to me before. Okay? So, we're always taught growing up, at least we should be taught, that if you don't pay attention to history, you're destined to repeat it, right? And so I look back into my career in this line of work, and yes, I have been sued. I got sued in a frivolous lawsuit. But this is where it's different for law enforcement, okay? I can go out here as the owner of a car dealership or whatever, and I can do some shady business and get myself sued in civil court over this deal, right? And then I go plead my argument in front of the judge or a jury, and the person suing me pleads their argument in front of the judge or the jury, and the judge or the jury makes their decision, right? Well, this is what happened to me back in the day. And I'm going to tell this story, and I'm going to be a little generic about it because I kind of have to at this point. One of these days, when I am done with working this career or whatever, I'll tell you guys every freaking stinking detail because it needs to be known. And I'll tell you exactly why. And it might explain some things of why I'm making the decision I'm making today, or I have with my wife. So, you know, back in the day, me and my partner, who is, yes, my friend, we got called to a domestic disturbance in the agency I work for, in the city I work for. And we get there, my partner gets there first. As I'm rolling up, I see the fight starting to happen, and before it's all said and done, we're in a fight with a father and a son, with the son's girlfriend jumping on both of our backs during the middle of the fights and all this kind of stuff. Nothing more than just wrestling around in the living room floor, and I think there was a drive stun with a taser, this, that, and the other. Nothing big. But anyway, I arrested these two fellows for obstructing an officer, and you know, which was the least of the charges I could have put on. And so anyway, I do my charges, and they were municipal charges. So the next thing you know, I'm getting subpoenaed to court, to a municipal court for this case. And well, our city attorney, in his infinite wisdom, which he always has the habit of doing, because well, I'm not going to go any further on that. He just has a habit of doing these things. Wanted to reduce the charges and hoping the case would go away. Well, the case did not go away, and there was some paperwork that didn't get filed. And so we end up going to court. And here I am in the municipal courtroom of the city I work in, and we've got everybody in place. I've got the city attorney there for me, my partner's there, the other side is there, the father and the son are there, who I charged with this obstructing an officer charge, and their attorney. And their attorney, he's a salty old attorney that I'd been involved in DUI cases with several times in court. He's a good attorney. He really is. He's a wise old man is what he is. And so he walks up there to the front of the court and he goes, "Judge, I don't even know why we're here." He goes, "This was the last time that I read in your ordinance, a man could not commit disorderly conduct within the confines of his own home." And so this is what our city attorney did. He decided to try to make a plea bargain with these people that I arrested to make the case go away, and so he wouldn't have to try the case for obstructing an officer. He offers them a deal of disorderly conduct. Well, the ordinance doesn't fit what happens on the deal. We were never outside of the confines of their home, and their judge was their lawyer was absolutely right. And the judge in the case, he was upset as heck. And he calls the city attorney up there. They start having it out, you know, and under whispering and this, that, and the other. Next thing you know, the judge is going, "You know what? I don't have any other choice, but I'm going to have to acquit these guys of disorderly conduct." Well, the original charge was resisting an officer, obstructing an officer, same thing. And so these guys walk. They walk on this case. Well, we already knew that there was a civil rights case involving these fellas coming. We'd already been notified. And so we had an attorney that was going through our reports and all that on another deal that I was not involved in. And he was going through and client shopping our records, I guess is what you'd say, our reports. And so he finds these guys I arrested, and he calls them up, and to make a long story short, they ended up filing a civil rights lawsuit against me for violating their civil rights in this deal. And of course they've got fuel put to their fire because now they got acquitted in municipal court on the original crime that I charged them with, right? Well, anytime, and I can't remember if I've talked about this in other videos or not, but anytime you get, as a peace officer, you get sued for a deal like this, this is the process you're going to go through. So the first thing, I had a process server come to my house with a subpoena, and they subpoena everything that I have, like all my financial records. They know where I live. And at the time, I didn't even live, I lived way outside the city I worked. But they, by God, knew where I live now. And so think about this. You worry about your family's security. You worry about your family and, you know, who the guy your daughter's dating or whatever the case is. But think about this. You arrest some guy, put him in jail, you fight him before you go to jail. And now that person knows where you live. They know your address. They know your wife's name. They know your kid's name. They know your assets. They know everything about you because their lawyer was able to subpoena that. And so they know all my assets. And the deal is they're looking for what kind of money they can sue for. That's what it is. And so anyway, this process goes on for a couple of years, and this is how these civil rights lawsuits go also. So a lot of these municipalities or a county or whoever, or even a state, they are insured by an insurance company against these sorts of things, right? Well, guess who has the final say on what happens in this whole trial deal? It's the insurance company, and it's all about money. And so what ended up happening in the end of 2 years was the fact that these guys that I arrested, they ended up finding everything there was to know about me, probably even where my parents lived, my family lives, everything, my extended family, everybody I know, they know everything about me now, right? They find out all this information about me, but on top of that, they get offered a settlement from the city because that's what they're advised to do from the insurance company, because it's going to cost a certain amount of money to take this deal to trial. Whether we're right, wrong, or indifferent, it's going to cost a certain amount of money to take this deal to trial. And this is federal court, y'all. I'm a defendant in federal court on a civil rights violation. That's the way it's worded. Or the insurance company can tell the city, okay, offer these people a settlement and see if they take it. That is less than the amount it's going to cost them to take this thing to trial. And so that's what happens. The city that I work for, they offer these guys a certain amount of money. They took it because they knew their case was crap. So did their attorney, and they took this amount of money and it went away. Well, in this 2 years between me getting subpoenaed and before there was a finality to the end of this, they had gone to the media. And of course, my side of the story is never getting to be told, right? I never get to tell the truth of what happened. And do you think the media is going to pull up my report and put that on the freaking news? No, they don't. But what they did do is they went and they interviewed these guys and was like, hey, what happened? You know, and of course they're going, well, these guys were so freaking intoxicated on drugs and alcohol, they don't remember what happened. They can't even remember what officer touched them. They have no clue what happened. But they tell it, and that becomes the truth in the media, right? Well, here we go. And we can go on all day long about this stuff, right? Because this is current events. But this is how easy guys who work in law enforcement, and I don't care if you're a sworn officer or if you're a jailer or whoever you think you are, you're not immune to any of this stuff, right? Because it doesn't matter anymore what a video says, because people will interpret even a video their own way, right? We've seen that 100 times. I can sit here and look at both sides of this whole Wisconsin deal, and I've got one side on the news, the mainstream media, showing their bits and pieces of the video that was taken during this officer involved shooting up there, and they're going, oh, this guy was gunned down in the back by white officers killing a black man, or shooting a black man. They didn't kill him yet. At least he's still alive. But then on the other side of it, I'm seeing play-by-plays and second-by-second and screen-by-screen of this video and going, look, you know, this is what was going on. And so I see both sides of the equation. And you know what? Both sides are going to believe the way they want to believe, and you ain't going to change their opinion either way. All right? So if I'm the officer up there in Wisconsin, and it doesn't matter if I did everything exactly right, I followed Tennessee versus Garner. I followed all these different case laws that we've gone on for years in law enforcement, and I followed the law by the letter. It don't make a difference anymore. Because guess what? When it all boils down to it, I'm going to end up in a courtroom, and if it's a civil rights deal, it's of 6 jurors, not 12. That the criminal trial will be 12 jurors. I'll be in that one too. But let's say I get acquitted, or I get found not guilty by the criminal law, because that's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, right? But whenever it comes down to a civil deal, like a civil rights violation, it becomes preponderance of evidence. So this evidence can get spun every which way but loose. And I'm also tried by a jury of 6. Well, do you think for a second, under today's time, I don't give a crap what race they are, that I want to get tried by any jury? Hell no. And so I'm stuck, right? I'm stuck. But guess what? Every cop that is out there working today, every single cop that goes to work, that is working at this moment right now, is one call, 1 second, one person away from ending up either in jail or in a civil rights lawsuit with everything that you've ever worked for, your home, your vehicles, all your assets that belong to you and your family on the line. All of that. And so I'm sitting here in the southern Logan County, right? And yeah, I've got a few things. I have a lot of debts, what I got. That's exactly what I got. But let's say that, with my lot of debt, and I go through one of these deals, if I survive not getting fired, because that, back when I first started, if a cop got sued in these sort of deals or whatever the case is, you didn't get fired. You got put on an admin leave, and until there was an investigation done. And then if they found you at fault of anything, sure, you could be subject to termination. But if you were not found at fault of any wrongdoings or any policy or law violations or anything like that, you kept on working. And when you were cleared by the DA's office, you went back to work. The civil stuff was the civil stuff. You were still working. Right? Because the investigations were done. And sometimes the FBI even get involved in these investigations. Not anymore. Now we've got a whole freaking trend of officers out there that as soon as their bad day happens, they're fired. These agencies are firing them first and taking the risk that officer is going to sue them for wrongful termination in the end, once all the freaking crap is done. But the reason they're doing it, and the reason it's all happening, is all because of the court of public perception. And that's all what it boils down to. Folks, if we're going to live our lives by what public opinion means, we might as well change the laws every quarter. Because you know what? That's what marketers do, right? You go clothes shopping at the mall. Well, these clothing companies, these marketers that go out there, they'll change a whole complete style of clothing every quarter, because that's what drives sales, right? It drives sales. So if my Bourbon Street shirt here was in style today, you can rest assured that 3 months from now, it's going to be out of style. It'll be some other shirt that's in style that everybody wants. And the marketers that are playing this game are going to make sure that happens. So this is what we're going to do with the laws now? Because public perception is wishy-washy as can be. Right? It can be easily manipulated. If you don't believe me, look at COVID-19. Look how easily we've all been manipulated. Real easy. And so you want to go out there and put our laws, the laws of our land, the laws of our cities, the policies that your law enforcement working under, all these things, you want to put that in the public's perception, and that's what's going to be the law of the day? That's about as insane as it gets. But that's exactly what we've done in our country. And I'm going to have to really edit this video well, because I don't want to get fired before my time. But what I'm saying is this, is we have absolutely made things extremely difficult nowadays. I feel sorry for these young pups coming into my job, a police officer. I feel sorry for them. Because you know what? This is the reality of their life. And I work in a city where we are very well supported. We really are. I mean, I really can't complain on that. But there is not a day that goes by that I ain't getting flipped off. I ain't getting the old big FU from somebody as they're driving by. I do get some people that come up and want to shake my hand and tell me they support us, right? But this is what really shows me, do you support us at all? Because I can sit there and watch these groups that go up there and protest at the police station that I work for. And they can throw together a protest in a matter of, I don't know, a week or half a week. And they'll be up there every weekend protesting. all these people that are supposed to be the silent majority, or the majority of people who support law enforcement, and I work in the reddest state, the most conservative state, supposedly. I mean, we brag about this. All 77 counties vote for Trump, right? But not one time have I ever seen anybody up there going, you know what? You guys can protest against the police, but I'm gonna be up here showing my support for the police on the city council, right there in front of the city council chambers, at the steps of the police station. I haven't seen that yet. And so, you know, you can sit there and throw some Starbucks at us or whatever you want to do. That's all fine, and it's nice of you. I appreciate it. But if you really want to show your support, get out there and start hitting up your lawmakers, because I'll tell you what's happening right underneath your freaking noses is because your lack of acting. Laws and policies are being changed as we speak. They've already changed at my agency. So if you want your law enforcement hamstringed, if you want them even defunded, you want them even not in existence, keep doing what you're doing. Keep being that keyboard warrior on Facebook and see how far it really gets. Because the people out there on the street protesting are the ones getting the politicians' attention. They're the ones getting these national organizations who develop policy and procedure on a national scale for law enforcement agencies. They've got their attention. They've got city leaders' attention. They've got judges' attention. They've got everybody's attention. And they're a very small percent of the population, I realize that. But it's because of the silent majority being silent. That's the problem. All right, folks. Sorry. I had to stop in the middle of my rant, get me some more coffee here. Woo, boy, that's hot. So, yeah, where was I? Oh, yeah. So, silent majority keep being silent. And I can promise you, folks, in a year's time from now, I'm going to be in a position to where I can speak my mind a lot more than I am right at this moment. I still got to be careful. So with that being said, this kind of gives you a little bit of prelude to my decision-making process, okay? I've got some history here. I'm not trying to make up some, knee-jerk reaction to something that happened last week or whatever the case is. I mean, no, it's been a longer decision-making process than what's going on. I've got history here. Some of my friends who have not worked the street for their entire career. Matter of fact, they only worked the street for maybe 10 years at the most, or what have you, don't know really what it's like to go out there and work the street for 19 years straight, and then have to deal with the public straight on every dadgum day and see the changes we're seeing. Is there good and is there bad? Absolutely, there's both good and bad, but the bad's gotten worse. And so I go back to this deal of, is the risk worth the money? Well, Christine, we have decided, we've talked about this, we've discussed it. I've talked to a lot of my very good friends that I always go to, and like Chris, Tommy, of course Jimbo, some of my other really good friends, Richard, all you guys that have been there and done this and had to make this decision yourselves. Some of you have. And but the main thing is I really don't care what anybody's opinion is. I know what's going to be best for me and mine, and me and my wife, me and Christine. and it's really only our decision. So if somebody wants to judge, make a decision or whatever, and say what they want to say, I don't really care, because I know the decision me and my wife have made with the education of talking to those who have already been down this road. So the decision we made, and some of my Filipino friends, if y'all are watching some of this, we went over to my sister-in-law Lori's house yesterday, and we'd kind of told them, hey, we want to come over, and because I've got two sister-in-laws. I've got Mercelita and I've got Loretta, and then my brother-in-law Junior, Trifon Junior, that live here in Oklahoma with us, and but the rest of the family is back in the Philippines, and so we wanted to let them know what was going on, and all that. Well, Christine kind of messed with them a little bit and said, hey, we got some news we need to let you guys know in person and all that stuff, so we want to have dinner. Well, of course, when we get over there last night, everybody thinks that the whole deal is Christine's pregnant. Well, she's not pregnant. I even told Christine while we were there, I was like, get you a big glass of wine and see if they scold you for drinking while you're pregnant, and all that stuff. And so we kind of played around with it, but the bottom line is we let them in on it, and told them what the decision was. And of course, some of them are sad. They don't want to see us go back, or they don't want to see us leave right this moment, but they understand, because I don't care what you want to say about Filipinos, they have a lot of common sense and they get these things. They're smart people, and I don't give a crap what y'all want to say. And so they get it. And so anyway, word got back to the Philippines that this decision had been made. And so what the decision is folks, my original plan was to work until I had 25 years in. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put my 20 in, and my 20 will be next July. So basically I have 11 more months to go as a peace officer, and I'm done. I'm retiring. And we're, of course, I'm sure I've mentioned it on some of these videos. If you're following me very closely, you know that when I retire, we're moving to the Philippines. We're getting out of here. So kind of what our game plan is now is starting to sell off things, sell out. We're getting rid of this house. We're going to sell it, take the equity from that, and that'll be plenty for us to build a very nice home in the Philippines with cash. Then we're going to live in the fifth wheel until it's time for us to go to the Philippines. And I'm going to be liquidating a lot of things, the razor, it's done. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to sell it. A lot of these things you just don't need. And I think this trip to Silverton that we took, with everything breaking on me, made me realize that, what, things are things. And they break. And when they break, it's not so much fun anymore. And so, I realized that, man, why am I sitting here doing this to myself? It's time to sell out. It's time to be done with all this crap, and just go live simple life. And then when we get to the Philippines, we'll build us a little house. We've already got some land, about 90% secured, and we'll be well on our way to just living the simple life there. And so, this time next year, I'll be coming to you live from Mindanao, from the beach. That's what it's going to be. I got a guy I watch all the time, Marcos. His channel on YouTube is Overstay Road. Very entertaining, but he just got back to the Philippines, and he's got a condo or whatever there in Barrio Barreto, and up there by Manila. He lives there with his wife and his little boy, and every time he does a YouTube video, it's coming to you live from the penthouse suite. Well, he lives in a little bitty condo there, but that's the way Americans live here. If you're gonna live in the Philippines and live there cheaply, you're gonna have to live as a Filipino. So there ain't no reason to have a bunch of crap. So, and that's the way Marcos lives. He's lived in Southeast Asia for 10 years now, and so it's just kind of funny. But that's going to be my deal when we get down there. I'll be coming to you live from the beach house penthouse or whatever it is in Mindanao. But whatever, I don't know. I'll have to think of something flashy to tell y'all or whatever. But some of y'all laugh, some of you won't. It's just kind of one of them deals. If you watch too many YouTube videos like I do, you kind of get involved in some of it. If you don't, then that whole story just went well over your head and you didn't laugh. So screw you. But anyway, that's our plan. We kind of let Christine's side of the family know about all this yesterday. So that's the decision we've made. So over the next year, we're going to be selling out, and I'm going to be kind of documenting this for you guys as we go. From getting new carpet in the house to getting the house ready to sell. We're going to be doing some paint. We're going to be doing a lot of throwing away, because there's a lot of stuff we cannot take to the Philippines. We can't take anything really to the Philippines. So, and there's going to be some things we're going to be putting in, billet buy-on boxes. So we're going to be sending them over. We'll document all that for you and show you our journey to the Philippines. And so this time next year, we're going to be living there. Is it going to be some fancy existence? Heck no. Don't want it to be. But is it going to be peaceful? Yes. Am I going to be drinking some Tanduay or some Red Horse beer on the beach? Yes. I definitely will. Am I going to get up with my cup of coffee in the morning and this background going to be the waves rolling in on the beach? Absolutely. Because our land that we're about 90% sold on is beachfront property, folks. So you'll see it. It's beautiful. Are we going to come to you from a Bahay Kubu? Yep, maybe so for a little while until we get our house built. All these things. It's going to be a fun ride. And I hope you guys, I know I've got maybe 13 subscribers now. Those of you who are subscribers, share the crap out of this video. I don't care. Tell people about it. Man, you're just helping me out. If it's good, if it's not, then leave your comments down there. Let me know what I'm doing wrong or doing right, whatever. I don't care. Talk to me, folks. I'll talk back. But the bottom line is, we are out of the razor business. I got one more video coming probably from Labor Day weekend. We're going to go down there to Sasakwan, do our last ride on the razor on the river this coming weekend. After that, razor's gone. It's going to get sold, and some lucky person's going to get a good deal on one. Sucker's worth at least $25,000. I'm going to let it go for what I owe on it. So it's just these things. We just got a lot going on. So if I'm doing things right here, I'm entertaining you folks, then share the crap out of this video. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like, whatever. Share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram, share it on Twitter. I don't care. Help me get this deal going. I'm tired of sitting on 13 subscribers. It'd be nice to have a few more. And if I'm not entertaining you folks, let me know. leave some comments down there. Tell me what I'm doing wrong or doing right. So anyway, folks, this is what we got going on. Finally got rid of some of that sun over there. It finally went behind the shop. But we got some videos coming up. Gonna do our little razor riding deal down the river. That's something me and Christine's always been wanting to do, but the river's always been too high. Heck, I don't know, it might be too high this weekend too. But this is gonna be our last hurrah on the razor. And then after that, we're gonna be fixing this house up, getting it ready to sell, get the house sold, get our land bought and paid for, and then we'll be living in an RV park for a little while, or maybe over at my buddy Dan's. He's made an offer. I may not refuse that one, and he's got to get some things in place first there though, and that's fine. But we may end up over there at my buddy Dan's before it's all said and done. Boy, that'll make for some interesting YouTube videos. I get Dan on here. That boy likes to drink. Y'all have a good night, all right? And we'll see you on the next one.